Good morning, my name is Tepo Mungwai and welcome. This is Bottom Line. Every Monday this time around, we talk markets and trading. It's official, the United States has joined the Iran-Israeli war strikes. The move has helped bring some certainty in the global financial markets. Well, since early last week, markets have been grappling to quantify the risk premium from the war. And as a result, we've seen global stocks bouncing around with more uncertainty. The JSE has been giving some mixed signals since the start of the week. Let's just take a look at the local bourse. Of course, broadly, the all-share index has been under pressure throughout the week. The index has been giving some ground since its peak on the 12th of June at 97,000. On Friday, we ended 0.2% weaker at 94,400. So investors are cautious because they simply do not know the full extent of the impact of the Iran-Israel war on the oil markets. Let's take a look at the performance of the oil markets in the week that was. There are renewed fears that the latest escalation of the conflict in the Middle East could push up oil prices further. More concerning is the possible supply disruptions of fuel going through the Strait of Hormuz, and this could spark a wider war in the region. Currently, we have Brent crude trading just below $80 per barrel. This is from the lows of $64 that we saw on the 30th of May. Investors are bracing for oil price spike this week. Let me remind you that South Africa has an entity that provides buffer against potential supply disruptions, as we know that we are a net importer of oil in the country. And I'm talking about the Strategic Fuel Fund. Unfortunately, the current state of our fuel reserve has been a major cause for concern. Most pressing challenge is the low levels of strategic fuel reserves, the weaker oil price that we've seen in the past week, and a stronger rand would have allowed SFF to acquire reserves more cost effectively. On the currency market, and of course, the rand has been feeling a bit of pressure, and we've seen that the rand has been trading around 18 rand 6 cents to the US dollar. And of course, more investors are moving away from riskier assets. Also, gold is also surprisingly down. Well, for now we turn our focus on trading, online trading, and looking at how deep fake can manipulate market sentiments. In our Traders Corner, we are joined by Jimmy Moyaha. He's from Leboa Capital. Jimmy, thank you very much for joining us. Hi, Jimmy, can you hear me?
No, I can't, Tepo.
Okay, it looks like we have a challenge with getting connection to Jimmy. Let's try that again. Jimmy, can you hear me now?
Can't hear you guys at all. I can see you, Tepo. I cannot hear you, unfortunately.
Okay. It looks like we have a technical problem. We will try again. Hopefully, next week we can also try to get the sense of the impact of deepfake on the financial markets, particularly online trading. That's how we end our show. Let's do this again next week on Bottom Line. Welcome back. This is Morning Live, and you are with Tepo Mungwai. And this is Bottom Line, looking at markets and, of course, online trading. And in our Traders Corner this morning, we have Jimmy Moyaha. Jimmy, thank you very much. Apologies for that grumbling. We don't really have to wait until next week. Let's talk about the issue of deepfake. Let's talk about it. What is it?
So, good morning, Tepo. Good morning to the viewers. In a nutshell, it is effectively when false information is created, most likely using artificial intelligence, whether it's to create the information, whether it's to publish the information, whether it's to edit information. So in most cases, it happens in the form of videos or communication that is sent out to people where it appears to be from a legitimate person, from a legitimate source, and from a verified individual, usually being impersonated impersonated that then provides false information towards individuals regarding investments in most cases. You'll remember that there have been a couple of examples throughout the country, everyone from Patrice Motsepe to Johan Rupert to our own Leanne Manis being impersonated by these impressions. And the idea behind a deepfake is to gain your trust so that money can be solicited from you for investment purposes, or at least what is being perceived as investment purposes, and therefore leaving you worse off because the person that actually contacted you is not the person that they pretended to be.
How can it affect the algorithms that are used in trading systems?
So depending on how the trading systems are set up, for the most part, if we're looking at deepfake videos, or if you're looking at algorithms that rely on information to place trades, it might see a deepfake video that's being put out online as a legitimate video and therefore take a position in the market or on an account based on that information. So, for example, if a video of President Trump is leaked saying that he has taken a particular stance on the Iran-Israel war, as an example, then an algorithm that might be trading on information might then take that video, interpret it in a certain way, and take a particular position on a market based on that video, whether that video is verified or not.
I mean, linked to that, there's a view that deepfake may and is able to erode trust in the broader financial markets.
Absolutely. In the financial markets, information is everything. Information is currency. Information is what drives market sentiment. It is what drives decision making. And the moment that information is clouded, misinterpreted, or faked in any way, that creates a mistrust in the market. It creates an uncertainty in the market. And you're seeing it play out in real time in today's announcements. We saw that over the weekend that Israel-Iran tensions started to escalate. We saw that the United States claimed that they had bombed Iranian bases, military bases, and we saw that the Iranian government had notified the media that they would be responding to the latest developments. Now, if any of that information that gets put out there is incorrect at any particular point in time, it seriously affects how traders interpret the information. If you're looking at the prices, I've been watching the oil prices, for example, since we opened for the Asian session in the morning. We opened as high as just shy of $80 a barrel on the cash markets, a little over $80 on the US future, on the oil futures markets. And you've seen oil markets come down a little since then, as markets are still trying to interpret the severity of the information that is being put out there. And so when information is verified and reliable, then market participants are able to act in a verified and in a meaningful way. When it is unverified information, or at least a deep fake, it can appear to be verified but be very misleading and cause markets to move erratically and more erratically than they ordinarily would. So deepfakes are a serious concern towards market participants in terms of whether you can trust the information that is coming out of them or not.
Just briefly, how can one identify deepfake?
Well, the primary way to identify it is to take a look at the source or the message that is being communicated. So, for example, I hate to use this as an example, but it is the most relevant to our Morning Live listeners. Leanne Manis was the victim of a deep fake video that went around circulating on social media. And if you look at that sort of video and that sort of information that is being put out there, everybody knows Leanne as a credible source of news information. So when you see a communication from her that suggests that she would be taking in finances on behalf of individuals for the purposes of trading, that is the first red flag you should be looking out for. That does not line up with what she does as a professional. So when you're looking for deepfakes, and ask the question of whether or not the information that is being pushed towards you by whatever source relates to the person pushing the information towards you. So Patrice Motsepe, for example, another example there, a gentleman who does not involve himself in trading would not suddenly send you a message soliciting investment from you or trading or offering you trading tips. But the top tips that you can look out there for are anyone that's asking you for finances or monies or investments to put towards trading and promising you returns. The other part is the promising returns. The returns are usually outrageous and therefore unreasonable.
Okay, thank you very much. That's Jimmy Moyaha in our Traders Corner. Well, join us next week here on Morning Live. This is Bottom Line. I'm going to hand you over to Leanne and for more newspaper headlines.